What's going on, guys? I just wanted to say real quick before we jump into this video, thank you so much. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, and when I first started this whole thing, I didn't know what to think. I mean, I'm glad. I hoped that I would reach this point, but I just did not know what to think. So thank you guys for supporting me along the way, and I hope there's more to come. And I'm hoping this year's a better year. I'm hoping I can be more consistent with the uploads. So if you are new to this channel, man, please subscribe and throw this video a thumbs up. Hope you guys like this cut. It's a little different, blonde hair, fade, and I figured it'd be a good one because sometimes blonde hair is a little tough to cut. So enjoy this one, guys. Thank you. So today we're going to do basically a basic cut, fade, basic fade, comb over the hard part. He likes the skin type. I think it's going to be an interesting cut though for you guys because it's really blonde hair. And a lot of times when you're doing this style of hair, it's hard to see. So some people find it harder to cut. I really don't. I think it's about the same. So because it is a part, I want to wet his hair here just to make sure his hair stays over and make sure that line is nice and crispy. So because his hair is not too long, I'm actually going to just start with the bald fade instead of deep bolt. And he likes a mid, so we want to try to keep a lot of that C-cup and kind of round it over the ears, drop it down a little bit to the shape of his head. He's got a big old head, so we charge him double.
Definitely got a hard head. Appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, man.
It's a blessing, man.
So this mask is always difficult because you want to try to keep his nose covered and all that. So then we do the same thing on this side. Start at that point, round it around the ears. I know you guys can't see this right now, but it's basically the same thing. What I like to do is I'll stand in front of them to make sure I got the lines lined up right, even on each side. And drop it down, connect it in the back. If you start on this side and just go all the way around, it's really hard to get it even all the way around. So that's why I recommend starting here, stopping in the back here, and then going to the other side. And if I do sound a little muffled, it's because I gotta wear a mask. But I would say this cut right here, man, is probably the most common kind of cut for young men right now. It's clean, a little professional, doesn't look too bad. Alright. Now, like we normally do, we got our bald line in, we're gonna clipper, no guard, lever open, and we're gonna set a guideline in about a 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch up. And what I was saying, how his hair's so blonde, you'll start seeing, you know, when we get this low, it's tough to see the fade where you're blending. See, I don't know if you could even see his line here that we gotta knock out. But like I do in every other of my videos, I'll knock this bald line out first real quick before I move on. You don't have to worry about getting it perfect yet because we'll go back and detail it at the very end. So now we just go all the way around. Alright, once we knock that bald line out down there, for the most part, we want the one guard, lever open, and we're going to set in another guideline. And as I'm doing it, I'm kind of flicking out to clean up that weight a little bit. Because if I go just straight up and I leave it, you see how it's still got that weight? So if you kind of flick out, we'll clean it up. Now we close the lever and we're gonna soften that line. Again, it's kind of hard to see because of his hair texture. That's where you gotta be kind of careful. And we just go do that all the way around. How do you like the length on the top? Like,
yeah, I was gonna see if you can make it shorter.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Everything is like I've been trying to train it. I've been doing it every day, but
no, it's good.
It's about to be summertime and hot.
Yeah. Well, and there's like a perfect length, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely see if you can knock it down. See what you thought.
Yeah, we'll knock it down a little bit. So once we do the 1 guard, soften that line. This is the wall 1.5. If you're using Andis, you jump straight to the 2. I typically will leave the lever closed, and that's my last guard, and then I'll do shear over comb to blend it. But here you definitely want to kind of flick out as you kind of go up. And here he likes to keep a little weight on this side. You know, we're not going to cut it all the way up to the part like a lot of these kids do. And keep a little weight. You just do that all the way around, and then we'll start working our way down. All right, once we do that, it's probably really hard to see, but there is a slight line in between that 1.5 and the 1 guard open. So we'll go back with our corners, and we'll just kind of go up and knock that line out. Now we're kind of working our way back down. After we do that, we're gonna do the 1/2 guard. Now this is gonna knock out that last line. This is where the cut comes together, I always say. And here you definitely want to use your corners, play with the lever. And don't worry if you put in a slight line, we'll go back with our 1 guard and knock that out. But again, it's really hard to see with this hairstyle, so you kind of got to catch it on an angle at times. Get the right lighting. I personally think his hairstyle, it gives you more room for failure. Because it is so hard to see. So you don't need to be as precise with this hairstyle. Now we did that. We're gonna grab our 1 guard, open, again, close it about halfway. Now we're just gonna kind of detail a little bit. Make sure everything's looking good. Remember, always use your mirror too. Check everything. But I mean, the fade's almost done already. Here I'm just detailing, taking my 1/2 guard, taking off the guards, doing no guard, lever open. Just going in, checking on the mirror, seeing if I see any lines or anything. Alright, now that that's finished, the next step I want to do is we're going to blend this in, but I want to make this part, get this part in just so I know where I'm working with. So his hair dried up a little bit, let's re-wet it. Wet the side here.
You been doing good?
Yeah dude, it hasn't been bad. Alright, so here, typically I would put the line here on most people, but we took it a little out because I think it looks clean on him. So here, don't try to like create a big line with your trimmers. You just want to kind of put it in, barely tap it in, because you got to remember you're going to go back with your razor, and that's going to really widen it even more. I think that's where a lot of people kind of forget, and that's what happens when a hard part gets really large, because they, you know, finish the hard part with the trimmers and then go back with the razor and make it even bigger. Now we're doing some shear over comb to blend it all in. So I mean, you can see just a little bit of shear over comb and it's already blended, clean. You'd be surprised, you don't need a large guard to blend in the sides. You could do this with clipper over comb if you feel more comfortable. All right, now we did that. Now we're gonna take down the top here. So typically I like to do, instead of working this way, I wanna set my guideline in here, especially with this blonde hair, because you'll be able to see a crease. So we're gonna take about that much. And then here, don't be afraid if the back seems a lot shorter. It's technically even. It'll look better this way. So the back won't grow out really long. And after you do that, you just follow your guideline all the way down and blend it in. The back's really long. And you don't want to take the back too short either, because the calic, it'll stick way up and all that good stuff. So after we trim everything, we want to blend this side in, and how I like to do it is take, and you want to cut kind of straight up, get rid of that bulk right there. And then we want to kind of soften that edge. You see all that right there? Soften that all up. And then again, shear over comb. All right, now we want to kind of clean up his edge a little bit. So we don't like pushing back or anything. We're just, evening everything out, getting some long hairs. He's got a pretty good edge as it is, so we keep it pretty natural. And some people don't like this, which is okay. I think it looks clean on some people, and other people, I don't think you should do an edge at all. But for him, I think it looks clean. Now, we're gonna go ahead and straight razor his part. We don't really have to straight razor his edge because, like I said, we didn't push anything back or. And then if you've ever watched any of my videos, you know that after this, I like to dry his hair, because wet hair lies, dry hair never lies. And to see if there's anything we need to touch up or anything like that. Yeah, everything looks good. Now we're gonna use some uppercut, and my personal favorite's the matte pomade. We're gonna style it up, see how it looks. Another thing with this style, and I would recommend you do with your clients, is a lot of people's hair grows forward like that. So what a lot of people do is they just put pomade in it and they grab a comb and they just push it back, and then they have that calic sticking up and all that. Look down for me, a little more. So I recommend starting back here first, comb it all the way down like that, and that calic's gonna lay perfectly. All right, chin up. And then obviously the part here, comb it all to this point here. And then we want to take the comb and bring the front up like that. And then I don't like how This is going forward, this is going to the side. So what I'll do is I'll just graze the top to kind of blend it. Just like that, my friend. And that's the cut. Still gotta skin them out, but that's basically the cut. We'll clean up his neck. A lot of people like to use the shaver first, right after they put the bald line in. I think it saves me time if I wait till the end, clean up his neck, everything, so I only have to grab that shaver one time. Now we're gonna skin him out, and I like to go down first so we don't create any harsh lines. And then we'll kind of bring it up, and then once we get to the very top where we want to stop, kind of flick out. I would recommend, a lot of barbers wait too long to replace these. Really, if you're using them every day, if you're doing a lot of bald fades, skin fades, man, you should be replacing them every 2 weeks or so. And I mean, they might still cut for a while, but it's all the comfort for your client, man. You want to make sure it's not pulling, it doesn't feel rough. So, all right, that's the cut.